All right, you're good.
Okay. Hi, everyone. When we get along with others, conflicts are inevitable. In this conflict, some may be small things that will not affect anything, but some may directly affect our relationship with that person. To deal with this conflicts, we can try to analyze them. One of the conflicts I remember most clearly was happened between me and a good friend of mine. I'm going to talk about this conflict through three main points. First, I will tell you whatever happened between us, and then I will do a thorough analysis of this conflict. The person who I had conflict with is named Derek. He was my roommate when I was in China, and the story between us happened while I was living with him. One day, I found that when he was halfway washing the dishes, he suddenly went to the toilet, but he did not turn off the faucet. Lots of water was constantly flowing out and wasted. When the second time I saw him wanted to do the same thing, I stopped him. I said that water shortage is a serious problem facing the entire world nowadays. Saving water is everyone's responsibility, and you should not leave without turning off the faucet. Let that much water be wasted. But he said in a kind of angry tone that it was his personal matter. He was about to pay for the water so he can use as much as he wants. I said, it has nothing to do with whether you would pay or not. When you were wasting, there are still many people in the world who do not even have enough water for daily using. We argued for a while, and he didn't take the initiative to turn off the faucet in the end. But after about a week, he stopped wasting. And a few days later, he offered to apologize to me. Our relationship has eased as a result. And as long as there's a conflict, the two sides in the conflict will definitely have communication. The foundation communication principle that connects to my story is that communication is inevitable. According to the Euler Survival Guide 2020, all behavior can be interpreted by others, whether we want them to do it or not. When we are arguing, or when we are trying to end the conflict, Derek and I were always in communication, no matter what direction, uh, no matter what direction a conflict is moving in. The two parties to the conflict will eventually need to communicate to solve the problem. Otherwise, the conflict will always exist. And next, I found some concepts from the textbook that I feel contributed to this conflict. The first one is critical listening. According to University of Minnesota Library Publishing 2019, critical listening means listening with the goal of analyzing a message based on verbally information and information that can be found from context. In fact, we usually forgot to do critical listening. When we are listening to different people who have different identities, we often make a conscious judgment about the information we receive, but not based on the actual context of it. For example, when we are listening to the teacher, we feel the teacher will always be right. As Derek's friend, the way I stopped him make him feel that I was scolding him, that let him feel kind of uncomfortable. Then he ignores what I said and make a direct judgment on things that he heard. He might think that what I said doesn't make any sense. Another concept I found from the textbook is interpersonal conflict. According to the University of Minnesota Library Publishing 2019, interpersonal conflict happens in interaction where there are incompatible goals or opposing viewpoints. People often have conflicts because they hold different or opposite views. Just like Derek and I, we have different views on wasting water. I think wasting is completely wrong. The water on our planet is limited, and wasting will make us have no more water someday in the future. But Derek thinks that even if he was wrong, it is only a trivial matter that no need to worry about. As long as he pays, he can waste at will if he wants. then conflicts arise. There are still many conflicts that fit our concept that fit our conflict, but I think the above two are most suitable. They can even be seen as the cause of our conflict. Not all concept in the textbook makes this conflict worse. When I try to look in the other direction, I found some that are useful to both of us and can control this conflict very well. The new concept that I could use to manage the conflict is avoiding. According to the University of Minnesota Library publishing to 2019, the voting style is conflict management, often indicates a low concern for self and a low concern for others, and no direct communication about the conflict take place. Voting allows us to reduce our attention to each other. If I no longer care if Derek was resting, no conflict will happen between us. I indicated a low concern for him and also for myself. I don't have to connect what he did with any deeper ethical implication. In other words, I can see the entire thing is unnecessary and not important at all. So when I tried to sort out this conflict, I looked for one from the ethical implication of communication. One I found that matches our conflict is responsibility. According to the Euler Survival Guide, responsibility means holding ourselves accountable for our choices, actions, and communication with others. In our story, saving water is the responsibility for all mankind. For me, it was also my responsibility to stop him. So if I want to improve my interpersonal relationships by using it, first, make sure I will be responsible to myself. Then think about being responsible to others when get along with them. As for these two concepts, I think if Derek and I knew them earlier, this conflict might not even happen. But it's not too late. They can help us to avoid conflicts in the future. And the above is all my analysis of this conflict. After all of this way, such as ethical implication, communication principle, and some concepts from textbook, we can see it's actually not that hard to avoid or to deal with conflicts. Just to do some easy things like be patient, be responsible. Derek and I are still good friends. Sometimes we even record this conflict, but at this time, there are no longer any contradictions between us. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Good job. All right. You stop your recording. Maybe.